Two trans teenagers in New Hampshire are challenging the Trump administration's executive order banning transgender athletes from women's sports. The Granite State students have already taken legal action against a state law that bans them from girls' sports teams at their high schools. Now, their legal team has requested the court to expand their case so that it can also challenge President Trump's executive order.
Vermont schools are assessing what that executive order means for students athletes here.
And as our Calvin Cutler shows us, there could be federal funding on the line if Vermont doesn't toe the line.
The Keeping Men Out of Women's Sports executive order allows the federal government to withhold funding to some schools that allow transgender individuals to compete in women's sports. And like other executive orders, it's once again pitting federal rules against Vermont policies.
I support the president's action.
Gregory Thayer formed Vermonters for Vermont to push back on what he sees as problems in public education, like programs promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion, and transgender individuals competing in sports. He supports President Trump's executive order, saying biological males competing in girls' sports is unfair to girls.
We've seen a lot of other people unhappy for being disenfranchised in their respective sports and the physicality to some of these women across the country.
But others say the order erases transgender people from public life. Amanda Rodenberg with the LGBTQ advocacy group Outright Vermont says trans youth participating in sports can foster self-esteem and sense of belonging. She describes the new executive order as a slippery slope to broader discrimination.
And doubling down on a lot of those exclusionary practices is just creating schools where not all young people have the same rights to participate, to play, to exist as they are.
Vermont law bars schools from discriminating against students based on race, sex, or other identity. The Agency of Education has interpreted that law as meaning transgender students must be allowed to participate in sex-segregated activities, like sports, in a way that matches their gender identity. Asked whether Vermont will change its policy in the face of the Trump order, the AOE released a statement saying the agency will continue to protect all students and their ability to access the full educational experience, including sports participation. Democratic Attorney General Charity Clark says she'll fight to protect trans athletes' ability to participate.
I want to reassure them that I have their back, and I will use the full force of my office to protect them and take action if necessary.
It remains to be seen whether the Department of Education will withhold funding from Vermont schools over this issue. Reporting in Montpelier, Calvin Cutler, Channel 3 News.